every single one of these people here because it is weekend. Almost. We're almost there. Tomorrow is Drama Friday. Yes, it is. We've got some good drama stories. Monday will be Roleplay Monday. Of course it is, because you guys have sent me some wonderful stories, which is cool. And today, of course, is our final sort of newsy wow segment of the week. And tomorrow is all good fun. And on Saturday, Web Show Saturday, get your brofist sent in and you will appear here in every single daily. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. You'll be all over there. And I can get to look at you wonderful people when I make my videos. And that really inspires me to see you guys letting me know you're out there. It's the coolest thing in the fucking universe. It's the best thing ever. It's inspiring. And I love that stuff. Okay, on to today's show. What shall be covered in today's show? We're going to talk about the Brawlers Guild. Yes, we are. We're going to talk about my day, of course. And we're also going to talk about social skills in WoW. A couple of topics to talk about. So it might run a little long depending on how much I decide to rant. Pretty much. If I decide to rant a little bit, it could run a little long. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so how was my day? My day was pretty cool. I did not get to play a Warlock yet, which is really kind of annoying me. The person who was giving me a Warlock has just disappeared. The face of the earth. So I may email some other people who have also offered up their Warlocks for me to use. I may be in contact with you shortly, because the guy who's giving me has just disappeared, which is a bit of a shame. What can you do? Maybe he's account expired or something. I always presume it's something like that nobody wants to tell me. Well, that's okay. That's okay. So, what did I do with my day? Well, first of all, I visited the Tekkit server, the Preach Gaming Minecraft server, which is completely free. I visited it with our wonderful moderator and moderator of the chat, the German sexual beast that is Mr. Delore. Howdy to you, Mr. Delore. Mr. Delore took me on a tour of what you guys have been up to on our Minecraft server. And let me tell you, wow, you guys are just fucking incredible. You really are. So I log into the Minecraft server. There will be a video going up shortly, just giving people a visual representation of what I'm about to tell you. And first thing I see is this wonderful open area with the Alliance PG logo and the Horde PG logo on either side, and that is awesome. And then I about face, it thusly about face like this, and see the biggest monster can ever. Like the largest monster can in fucking history. It's always as tall as the sky, which reminds everybody to maintain high energy and a good upbeat level of play while playing some Minecraft. It's awesome. Whoever built that, you are a legend. And then I about face thusly about face to see what can only be described as the spider from Wild Wild West, which features Will Smith. If you haven't seen it, don't. It's terrible. Don't watch it. It's fucking really, really bad. So bad. Oh my god. It's really bad. But don't watch it. Don't watch it. But it does have this giant spider fucking base with these enormous legs that stretch down from upon high. It's absolutely amazing. And then I roamed around. I visited people's houses. I didn't break anything, which was pretty fucking cool. I was actually just rolling around and visiting everybody's places. Really good. And to see some people playing with the computer technology, Lightrath especially. Lightrath, you sexual beast. Your nuclear reactor literally gave me a stonking boner. It really did. Luckily, we caught nobody griefing. I saw a lot of force field and stuff like that, which was really awesome. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video of what you guys have been up to. And I look forward to revisiting it soon to see what else you've been up to. Besides giant, three-dimensional cock and balls, as some of you have been producing. Each to your own. Each to your own is all I'm going to say. So I did that, and then I did some writing. I prepared the script for Monday's video, and I also started writing some Way of the Warrior 2, getting that down on paper and some scripting, and then I felt like playing some WoW. Weird, right? I couldn't think of anything else I wanted to do more than just chill the fuck out on WoW. I met, literally, the biggest combination of assholes I have met in such a long time. It was hilarious. I had a great time doing it. So many absolute mongoloids. It was just unbelievable. I mean, you kind of have these generic types. The slow tank. The guy who doesn't realize why he dies. All these kind of things. And quite frankly, I bumped into a very mixed bunch of all these kinds of people. As I've been desperate to play my Warlock, and play somebody else's Warlock for that matter, but I hadn't played a Warlock much at level 90. In fact, at all. I decided to play my Warlock first. Now, it's very unusual for me to, out of choice, want to do some dungeons on a DPS. I don't really have time for the queues. But I also wanted to check out the Brawlers Guild, which I will get to shortly. So I logged my Warlock, and out of good spirit, I instantly accepted the invite that came my way. I, of course, had this Warlock in Method. Of course, at some point, he was removed after I left on my Warrior. So I was guildless. Within about 10 seconds, a guild invite popped up on my screen. Level 25 Cesspool Guild. Oh, yeah! The Preacher Man is coming your way. So I was like, fuck it, right? I'm going to do some dungeons. I might as well get the XP bonus. I don't really care. Accept that invite. I'm in. I've made it. I've passed the application process. I managed to move my cursor to the middle of my screen and click that yes button. Yes, I did. So I got into the guild and was instantly greeted by no one. Although there were, in fact, hundreds of people online. No one said a word. Not a damn person said a word, which was awesome. And immediately after I joined, a flood of other people also joined the guild. And then a flood of people were leaving the guild. I have never seen anything like it in my life. It was blah, blah, join, 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 left, 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 left. And then there's that one guy. Oh, don't you feel your heart go out for that one guy who genuinely believes it's the best guild ever? And he joins the guild and he's like, hey guys, I'm new in the guild. How's it going? No one fucking replies, right? And he's like, hello? And then he asks the most beautiful, beautiful question ever. Is my guild chat working? In guild chat, right? Because of course if it's not working, no one can see it. So he's like, is my guild chat working? I don't understand. Is it working? And I was like, oh, dude. So I said hello and he goes, hey! And then instantly starts whispering me. He's like, do you want to level together? I'm like, oh my God, what did I just do? He was like, hey, it's like a puppy. Very much like a puppy. He was like, hey, do you want to level together? Let's be friends. I'm like, oh my God. It's kind of cute, but it's so frustrating at the same time. I'm like, dude, no, sorry, I'm doing something right now. He's like, okay, can we be on Real ID? I'm like, oh, man. Shit. Fuck my life, right? All I wanted to, I felt sorry for the guy. There's hundreds of people online. Nobody's speaking to him. And it's probably his first guild ever. He was like level 4 or 5. And he's just asking, please, can we be friends? I'm like, dude, no. Can't be done, can't be done. And I was like, oh. I kind of want to hold him. I kind of want to say, I want to take him under my wing and show him the journey that he's about to embark upon. I want to show him what awaits him out there in Azeroth, the dangers. I want to be like Q in Star Trek and thrust him into the endgame and say, this is what prepares, this is what awaits. You need to prepare for it. But of course, I was just not in the mood whatsoever to do that. That would probably require months of my life. I just can't do that. So I said, no, sorry, I'm genuinely busy. He's like, oh, okay, can we be Real ID friends? I said my Real ID was full, and he said, I didn't think you could fill your Real ID. I'm like, oh, bless you. Bless you. Bless you, little cotton socks. So, yeah, I was like, yeah, your can of mine's full, sorry. And he's like, oh, okay, well, there are a lot of people in the guild. Because, of course, everybody on your Real ID is members of your guild. So I wasn't an arsehole. I wasn't an arsehole at all. I was just being, I was being very gentlemanly, very polite. So I queued up for my dungeon, and then I thought I'd step into the Brawlers Guild. So before we get to that, I was in the Brawlers Guild, and my dungeon pops, as normal. I instantly enter the Storm Stout Brewery. Pretty normal. There's only 2 dungeons I could possibly do. I was kind of chilling at the time. I had Word open, so I was in the queue, and I was typing away, just jotting down ideas. And I go in to the Storm Stout Brewery. I shit you not, within 15 seconds, I was the only person left in the group. Everybody left the group. And I was like, do I smell? I was like, what the fuck just happened here? Instantly the tank walks in and just leaves the group. The healer just leaves the group. Then the 2 DPS just leave the group. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? What the fuck? I've just waited 25 minutes for this queue. Why did everybody leave? There's only 2 dungeons at this level. And you don't want to do one of those 2? What are you doing? Why did you queue in the first place? What the fuck is the thinking going on here? What is the mentality? I don't fucking understand. I was stood in Storm Stout Brewery. I put down my soul well. People take soul health stones. They even say thanks. Then they leave the group. And I'm looking around and I'm like, what the hell just happened here? What the fuck? It can't be gear. All my gear is heroic Dragon Soul stuff. It's pretty fucking good. I'm higher item level than everybody here, including like the 87s and shit. I'm like, what the... Whoa! So, 15 minutes later, I tried to solo the first two mobs. Didn't give it my all, let's say. I didn't even have a pet out. I tried to solo them with my Doom Guard. My Doom Guard will take care of it, right? So about 15 minutes later, I put... Things you do while you're bored. I could have left the dungeon and waited inside the Brawlers Guild, but well, somebody will join shortly, right? Okay, it can't be that long. So I've got portals set up on boxes and shit. I'm just porting myself around the room like a complete retard. It's like when you walk in on somebody who's doing like something really private and you don't know what's going on. True story, to embarrass Mrs. Preach, who constantly tries to embarrass me on the daily, is when she was 18 years of age. Remember, this is 18 years of age. I had a car because I was a sexy bastard, right? So I drove to her house, surprising her. Now, I know what you're all thinking, and she wasn't doing that. So I enter her home, and I ask her mother, where's Emma? And she says, she's upstairs, she's in her room. I'm like, okay. So I go upstairs, I open the door. Emma, 18 years old, and she refuses to accept this ever happened, right? She's got a giant monkey teddy bear and a half-size monkey teddy bear, and she's doing this with them. And she's playing with them. And I'm like, what are you doing? You're like 18 years old. Why are you playing with two... And she went so shyly and coyly. And I think you can fall in love all over again. This is one of those moments. I was playing Monkey Dance Party. I'm like, what? What the shit am I hearing? What are you doing? It's those things that you do when you think nobody's around. It's going to be fine, right? I can make a complete fool of myself because nobody's here. And she's playing Monkey Dance Party at 18 years old. And I said, why are you doing that? And she said, I was just really bored and I couldn't think of anything to do. Emma's PC, Emma used to have a rabbit. Emma used to have a rabbit, and she kept the rabbit in her room. It was an indoor rabbit. It was called a dwarf lion rabbit, I think, or lion head rabbit, something like that. They don't really like the outside, as stupid as it is, this breed of rabbit. So she had like a large rabbit cage in her room. I shit you not. Emma's family loves animals. Right now they've got like 4 rabbits, 3 cats, fucking God knows what else, guinea pigs, all sorts of shit. So this rabbit she used to let it out, obviously. It used to run around her room and jump on her bed. Sometimes when I stayed over, in a single bed, by the way, I am not built for single beds. I used to burn my ass on the radiator all the time. It was right next. It was a tiny room. Tiny, tiny room. You used to wake up with the rabbit on your head. Like, you'd be asleep and suddenly this rabbit is like doing its hoppy thing on your fucking head, right? This is the kind of shit that used to go on. So I got Emma a PC. I gave her the money to get it and I said, we'll go and buy it, you know, and build it ourselves. She wasn't happy with that. She made the critical error of going to a chain store and buying a pre-made Hewlett-Packard PC. The biggest pile of shit I've ever seen, and incredibly overpriced. It was garbage. One day, the PC stopped working. Surprisingly. The PC stopped working. I was called, of course, 1-800 guy who knows about computers. Can you come round and fix my PC? I need it for university work. Okay, I come round, I open the CD tray. Legit rabbit shit in the CD player. I shit you not. Like, I opened it, little fucking rabbit pellets in the CD player. Holy God, I've never seen anything fucking like it in my life. It was totally bizarre. That's the kind of shit I used to deal with. Anyway, luckily I moved her out of that house eventually. We live here now with no rabbits. That was one of my rules. There'll be no rabbits and no cats. There'll be a Ben. There'll be no rabbits, no cats. Getting back to our tale, I'm lonely. I'm forever alone in our dungeon for 15 minutes. I'm doing stupid shit like trying to solo the instance, portaling myself across the room, all sorts of crazy stuff, when suddenly the group fills up. Awesome. We're on our way. The healer then leaves the group. The tank then leaves the group. I've been trying to do a 5-man dungeon now for nearly an hour. I've gone through 9 people. It's the fucking stupidest shit I have ever seen. But luckily the group refilled again quickly about 5 or 6 minutes later and hope was restored. We did complete that dungeon in proper fashion. It was fine. So on to the next dungeon. I'm just queued up. I'm chilling. I was playing WoW for about 3-4 hours today. The next dungeon, a tank who was so slow that not only was he the last person to arrive at any trash, okay, he said his class didn't have a taunt. I want you to let that settle in. He didn't have a taunt. I'm aware that it is now possible to get yourself a free level 85 character. I'm aware you can do that. That's terrible. That's absolutely fucking terrible. This character was a Blood DK. A Blood DK who had completely gemmed for things like PvP power. Things like that. So he was pretty awesome. And on his journey through tanking this dungeon, he would often just stand behind the people. So we would have me, the healer, and the other 2 DPS like in a line, waiting to attack this trash. He would stand behind us. like he couldn't see. He's like, what the hell's going on? What the hell? What's amazing is he still held aggro. When he did eventually go, even though this guy was obviously had no idea what to do whatsoever, there was never diseases or anything like that, he still held aggro. That's what's going on right now. He still held aggro against me, and I was not holding back at all. I was not holding back. But that was what was going on. So ultimately, we get to this position where we enter the Temple of the Jade Serpent courtyard. You know the one, it's got the 3 packs. A tank usually pulls all 3 and we AoE them down happily. He pulls the singular pack. Then he runs away back to the water boss because he thinks that's the natural path to go. So we are trying to tell him in chat, don't do that. Come back. You need to clear this courtyard. And he's gone. He's like, fuck you guys. I am out of here. I am going all the way back to the water boss and I am going to see what's going on over there because I'm suspicious that something is happening down there. We are desperately trying to get this guy to come back. We're like, please come back. He can't see the chat. For whatever reason, he can't see the chat. I'm like, please fucking come back. Please, just come back here. He circles around, right round, and then through the water boss, and then back to the beginning of the instance again, and stands there. And he's looking at us across the courtyard, because we're all stood here. He's now stood on the other side. And we're saying to him, okay, pull. No response. Pull from there. We can meet you in the middle. It's no problem. It's fine. Pull the trash. Right? He won't do it. He's just stood there. He's like, And then you could see that he was probably trying to work out how this situation had occurred. How is it possible? How is it even possible that this has occurred? How can there be mobs in the middle of the room? We were together. What has happened here? These must be fresh spawns. Is there some wall hack occurring that is allowing players to skip on by? It was so tragic. Ultimately, I ran in, but didn't attack anything. I ran through the middle. It's the only way I could think of doing it in a legit manner. And stood on top of him. Literally bringing everything to him so he could press blood boil. Then we could begin the fight. And he dies pretty quickly because he obviously cannot see purple goo on the floor. So we proceed and we did even kill the last boss, which is testament to what's happened to some of the 5-man dungeons, is we still cleared the instance pretty successfully. On to the next dungeon! On to the next dungeon! There is a priest, a shadow priest in this dungeon, who is of the opinion that he is a god among men and is the god's gift to World of Warcraft. He is in fact the best player who ever lived in the history of mankind. So we enter the dungeon and he rightfully points out immediately that he needs a health stone. He does this with the soul well lying on the floor. I require a health stone! I have spoken! I say, well, the soul well's down, dude. The soul well's down, dude. And he goes, thank you. Like I had just dropped it, right? Like I had just dropped it. He then proceeds to do about 6k DPS throughout the majority of the dungeon, while all the time giving advice on how the next dungeon should be performed. This next trash pack requires you to move out of water. That is correct. Can you kill the trash? We're all killing it. He's typing away. Nothing worse than a guy doing terrible DPS while also passing on advice. We get to the courtyard again. The courtyard of sorrow, I will call it for today. And he dies pretty quickly in the purple goo. Completely oblivious to this stuff. Even after telling people don't stand in it, he dies in it. The healer is like, dude, stop standing in shit. Apparently he'd been doing this throughout the majority of the dungeon. He is that guy who multi-dots Strife and Peril. Yeah? He's that guy. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy who fucking double dots those ads. You fucking bastard. I hate you so much. You stand there and you fucking double dot them so nobody can DPS because they're both immune. And then you stand there like... Don't be that guy, okay? Don't do it. It's so annoying. It really... You switch target and it's on 9 stacks. G fucking G. You twat. You absolute twat. So, he's that guy. He dies in the purple stuff. The rage. Druid, fucking heal me. He gives the big heal FFS. Shout and cry. The Druid is very chill, actually. Or so we think. Druid has been doing pretty well so far. Druid says, I am not healing you if you can't be asked to move out of poison. His response, his rebuttal to this statement is, you are the healer. If you don't want to heal, don't queue as healer. So I mockingly say, yes. I think the guy's name was Baboon or something like that. Like Baboon, but not. I say, yeah, Baboon, you better get it right. You better heal this dude. And he gets it as a joke, and he's like, ha 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 ha, no problem. So, on we continue with our dungeon. He gets rezzed after the final boss has died. I love how many people died to that Jade Serpent in the last 20% of the fight in the courtyard. They always die to it. It's so funny. And then we get into the last boss, the Shah. I kind of thought Baboon was pretty cool at this point. Of course, the priest is now giving advice. He's dropping raid markers and shit. He's like, you must all gather here during the shadow phase. You must gather here. It's okay. So I'm like, okay, I understand what you're saying, Mr. Priest, who can't survive the courtyard. I understand what you're saying. So we pull the Shah, and Mr. Baboon can't dispel. Oh no, Mr. Baboon can't dispel. I notice that this debuff is going on, and I type in chat, debuff, dispel the debuff. Doesn't read chat in combat, too hard. Moving those eyes down to the bottom left of the screen is of course far too much time, especially with all this crazy damage going on, right? I can't read chat. I'm healing this mass amount of damage that's coming around. There's so much magic damage going on, I can't have a chance to read. So they all gather, because nobody else has noticed that this debuff is on like 2 people or something, and they're all AoEing each other to death. So they all run to the middle. And it's just death and destruction everywhere. I see them all blindly charge in like fucking Braveheart or something. They're all like, the priest said we gather here. This is the shadow phase. This is our moment. Charge to the raid marker. They're all getting fucking wiped out completely. People dropping left and right. The druid's the first to die. The priest follows shortly behind, and then the hunter. And I stood there. I'm stood there like a failboat, completely on my own. I'm like, why did you all run together? Obviously, no one has a clue what's going on, so I'm forever alone again. And then the druid clearly points out, this fight has too much damage going on. I'm like, I know, it does have too much damage. I said, you have to dispel the debuff. He was like, what debuff? I'm like, exactly. What debuff? What are you talking about? There was no debuff. We all just wiped, right? That's just the way it goes. I don't understand what you're talking about. After this, I was kind of done with the queuing system. I was fed up, and I switched over to my Blood DK. Instantly got into a 5-man dungeon in Stormstout Brewery with people who must have been like from some of the best guilds in the world. Did we demolish that instance? It was pretty fucking awesome. It was pretty incredible. We demolished that instance to pieces, and I thought that was pretty awesome. Until we got the druid in the next dungeon, who of course doesn't believe in HOTS. Lots of druids do this, lots of resto druids, especially new players who don't believe in HOTS for whatever reason. They only use Healing Touch. It's like Healing Touch is the spell to use, right? So they just spam Healing Touch, and then, oh, they spam Nourish or whatever. They go out of mana, and they look at me blankly like, why are you pulling? I haven't got any mana. I've not seen a life bloom or a rejuve in my entire fucking life. And it's like, what the hell? What the hell do I do? So overall, a fantastic journey around the 5-man dungeons. I did a couple more, got my level on my DK. Overall, very fun. Very fun, very interesting to see exactly what goes on there. All the time, nobody spoke in my Warlock's guild. Not a fucking word. Just a lot of left guild, join guild going on. A lot of people dinging level 10, achieve, grats, all that kind of shit. It's fucking crazy. All that stuff was going on. The Brawler's Guild. Let's talk about the Brawler's Guild. Quick shout in the chat. Who has tried the Brawler's Guild? Anybody, anybody, anybody. Anybody, anybody, anybody tried the Brawler's Guild? Nope, 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 nope. CG has. You couldn't find it. It's an Ogrimmar. Big Brawler has. Yes, good. Some people, some people. Has anybody... Well, I don't think anybody possibly has defeated the Dark Summoner, I believe it's called. Blood DKs be trolling though, right? Blood DKs be taking the piss out of people, other people. Brawler's Guild. Let's talk about it for a minute. The Brawler's Guild is one of literally the most biggest strokes of genius I've ever seen Blizzard do. Ever. You know why? It gives thousands, if not millions of people things to do when they're not doing anything. Fucking genius. Absolute genius this is. There is not a lot of content to do outside of queuing up for stuff in WoW at the moment or being in a raid guild. There just isn't. There's dailies, that's about it. So what do? We send people to this place where only a few can take part, but we give them somewhere to spectate. I went into the Brawler's Guild arena. It was full of people just watching. Just watching, and they were there all the time. I was going into dungeons and coming back out. They're still there. Going into dungeons, coming back out, they are still there. They're just watching. And it's filled up more and more and more. I cannot possibly imagine how many of these instances there are running at the same time. So many people just sat in queues watching the Brawler's Guild. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. This thing by Blizzard is so clever. It's unbelievable. Just let people... It's like a stream, but you're really there. How good's that? It's like being really there in the game, in the virtual game. But, first of all, I have to say, the Brawler's Guild seems at the moment to be pretty much imbalanced for certain classes. You get shit on a few certain classes. Rogues especially. I saw rogues getting absolutely hammered. Absolutely hammered to death. And seriously overgeared rogues too. By their current state, getting seriously overgeared. And getting hammered. Blood DKs were taking the piss. I would watch a rogue go in and get smashed to pieces, then a Blood DK go in and just be at 100% health when the thing died. I'm pretty sure nobody has beaten the Dark Summoner yet. I saw lots of people try the Dark Summoner, but not really do anything to it. Especially the eyeball. Has anybody seen it? You will see it. I recommend, if you're in Ogrimmar, if you're Horde, it's literally... where the Ogrimmar Arena was, it's there. That's the Brawler's Guild. You can just go in and watch some people try it. It's good fun to watch. I've got to be honest. I found myself thoroughly enjoying a lot of people watching. I more enjoyed how different classes were trying to cope with the different encounters. But there is this giant eyeball that looks like Cthulhu, and he spawns tons of other eyeballs that shoot fucking lasers all over the floor, right? And you just have to dodge the lasers. People were like... I cannot possibly handle all this movement. It's too fucking much. There's so much going on here, I can't cope with it. I'm just going to go like bear form and hope for the best. They were just like, bear form, hope for the fucking best. I'm going to sit here in bear form and hope nothing hits me. Feral Druids getting shit on left and right. The best thing to see is warriors. There is a mentality that comes with a warrior that is Hulk smash. There is no other way to cope with anything as a warrior other than Hulk smash. That's it. That is plan A, B, C, all the way through to Z is Hulk smash and hope for the best. Like, I'm just going to blow absolutely everything in the universe, and if it isn't dead by the end of that, I really have no other plan to do. I don't know what the fuck else there is in this game. All I know how to do is pop every cooldown in the fucking universe, charge in like a raging maniac, and smash things to pieces. There's a couple of bosses in the Brawler's Guild where you just cannot do that. You cannot do that. One of them is a very, and Delore will love this, there is a very unsuspicious looking, or inconspicuous looking yak. And the yak is very, very deadly to warriors because the yak has a charge. And if you get hit by the charge, you're out. You're done. That is the end of your turn. So this lonely looking yak stood there. I had previously saw a mage cope very easily with the yak. The mage destroyed the yak without issue. So I thought, the yak's got a charge, nothing special. So I'm just there watching this yak, and then this warrior enters the arena. This fucking seriously hardcore gear, Terrace of the Endless Spring heroic fury warrior. And he draws his fucking swords. And he stood there like this. And then what spawns in front of him? The yak. Yes, this pitiful, idiotic looking yak spawns in front of him. What does he do? I see that fucking skull banner hit the floor. I see the avatar unleash. And he's like, "Ah! And the yak's taking a beating. The health of this yak is dropping like a fucking maniac, right? His health's going, ooh. You know what the yak does? It goes, okay. I get it. You're a warrior, right? I'm just going to do this charge thing real quick. And the warrior, of course, doesn't play with his eyes open. A warrior does not simply look at what he's DPSing, right? He's there to kill shit. So he's got his blindfold on, and he's giving it his fucking nonsense. This yak just charges this warrior, and you're out! It was the best thing I've ever seen. Until I saw the warrior go through the circle again and retake on this yak. But of course, a warrior only has one plan. A warrior does not simply learn the mechanics. Are you kidding me? The warriors decided, you know what? I didn't kill it before it did its ram thing. And of course, there's no way to avoid ram, right? My plan this time is to hit it harder. That's what I'm going to do. Yes, I need to hit it harder. Duh! I need to do more damage. Simply just trying to cope with the mechanics is not what a warrior does. I just need to kill it faster. So he comes back in and he goes, right, I've got my plan. I'm going to do more damage. So he charges in and he's whacking away, and you know he's popped recklessness. He's got a flask on and all this kind of shit, and he's giving it fucking everything in his soul. Charge. You just got yacked, bitch. The yak's not having any of it. The yak's just fucking them up completely. So funny. Just to watch this entire warrior mentality in action live. He just gets owned again. And you can only imagine he's gone, what shall I do here? What shall I do? Next time, I'm going to do more DPS. You got fucking yak, bitch. That's exactly what happened. Brawler's Guild, fucking awesome. I actually really enjoy it. I'm going to watch it a little bit more later before I play some Mario Galaxies. I've set aside an hour tonight so I can watch some play some Mario Galaxies, because tomorrow, of course, I'm working on the Big Monday video. Tonight, I'm going to watch a little bit of that and then play some Mario Galaxies. It's going to be awesome. But yeah, very, very strong classes for the Brawlers Guild. Moonkins doing really well from what I saw. Moonkins were having a great time in the Brawlers Guild. They were kicking a lot of ass, especially being able to heal. Mages, not so much. Mages weren't having a great time. Although some bosses a mage could really own, as long as it didn't like chase you down and hunt you down. I particularly like, for those of you who haven't tried it yet, is the 2 engineers. The 2 engineers is a good encounter, and I want to see who defeats the Dark Summoner first, because that seems to be the pain in the arse at the moment. I haven't seen anybody get the Dark Summoner below 50% before it hits in Rage, so it's either bugged or somebody hasn't really worked out the strategy yet with the ghosts. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, go and see it for yourself. Go into Orgrimmar. I think the other one's in Stormwind or maybe Ironforge, and go and check it out, because it's pretty cool. So move on to our final topic of today. Which was a rather large email that came my way from a wonderful member of this audience, because you guys are awesome. Any email that begins with, "Good day to you, sir. I would like to hear your thoughts on the difference between WoW pre- and post cross-realm groups from LFD." The title of this email was, I worry about new players and their social skills. Now, not to mock the email, but it was very generic. This is the kind of thing that I see on the WoW forums, and it's not really something I tend to cover too much on the daily. It focuses very much on a sort of nostalgia aspect. This was better. that was better, vanilla was better, and all that kind of stuff. Let's go on record once and for all, for the final time, vanilla was not better, vanilla was fucking dog shit for a lot of reasons. TBC was pretty cool and still had all its problems. Wrath of the Lich King was kind of a mess, picked up at the end. Cataclysm overall was very good, except for Dragon Soul. That's my general opinion. There has been no perfect expansion by any means. But he wanted to talk about the social aspect of being in an MMO. And it kind of drove from the discussion we had on 10 and 25 man raiding and different things we could do to promote the social aspect. One thing we can all agree on, right, is that social aspects of WoW have massively diminished for a number of reasons. One is the LFD and cross-realm play. No, your anonymity is magnified by an immense amount. By magnitudes of more than Skynet, who learns at a geometric rate. It's just massive now. Your likelihood of running into the same person again in a level 90 dungeon, you do run into the same people again when you're doing low-level dungeons. They tend to be doing the same thing you are. That tends to happen. But at level 90 or level 85, whatever the current level cap is, you are very unlikely to bump into the same person again through the LFD system. It's very unlikely. Hugely unlikely. And that gives people a lot of power in the fact that nobody can get you. You can't get me, you can't get me. So people act like arseholes, right? LFD was a good idea. A lot of people will disagree with me, but LFD was a good idea. Formation of groups, let's talk about pre-LFD. Pre-LFD is vanilla, and it is also in TBC. Now, finding groups to do dungeons in vanilla was almost non-existent if you weren't in a guild. Let's talk about that for a moment. Of course, things like Sholomance, 10 people, Stratholme, 10 people, Blackrock Spire, 15 man. This was good though. You could do these dungeons in big groups. But people, of course, wanted the easy way out. As many people like LFR, LFR seems to get a blame for a lot of play. These things still existed in vanilla. Still existed in vanilla. These exact styles of play of the easy option existed in vanilla and always will consist. People will always take the easier option to get their goals done. What do we want from our dungeons primarily? Is it quests or is it loot? It's loot, of course. We want our shiny items. It's easier to do things like UBRS as 15 man rather than 10, which is what it was designed for. That's what Blizzard did. They designed a dungeon for X amount, but allowed you to do it in a different way by simply increasing the amount of players. So Sholomance, designed for 5. Sholomance, a wonderful 5-man instance. If you ever got to do vanilla Sholomance, it was immense. I think original Sholomance had something like 13 bosses, I want to say. Wasn't far off if you'd done all the quests, about 13 bosses. And it was designed for 5 people. But they allowed you to enter as a raid and you could take 10. So what did the player base do? They always went with 10. Of course they did. Stratholme was the same. Designed for 5 people. You could take 10. You could do it as a raid. More than fine. You could take most of them. I barely ever did Stratholme as 5-man until I was in a proper guild. So this was quite a social thing. Because it wasn't cross-realm. It actually became very social. You would make friends. You would make people who would whisper you saying, we have 1 spot left here, do you want to come? And they didn't have to be in the same guild at all. They could just be a player you knew, you bumped into. The good thing about the original system from a social aspect is that you got to know other people on your server. It's quite rare for me now to run through a city and recognize people. I don't know if this affects a lot of you guys, but I don't recognize a lot of people anymore. I used to recognize tons of people, and I recognize people from other guilds. Definitely. I recognize people from guilds I used to play with, stuff like that, but the random people, the faceless people around Orgrimmar have become much more faceless because I don't bump into them in a 5-man or a 10-man or anything. I don't bump into them doing that kind of thing. Whereas previously I probably would have. I would bump into them on very many occasions, which was cool. Ninja looting. Ninja looting, of course, occurred in vanilla. Of course it did. Everybody ninja loot. But quite frankly, if you ninja looted, you had to leave the realm. Being a ninja looter was not cool in vanilla by any means, which promoted a good social ethos, a good social aspect of the game is that you would be labelled as a ninja looter. Of course, one of the problems with this is, of course, being labelled a ninja looter by people who are just assholes, who don't know shit. Put it nowadays, where the paladins need, I don't know, what is it, haste, mastery gear? Mastery haste gear. And the people who rage so fucking hard when those prop paladins take that gear, because that is DPS loot. One of the big problems is people don't understand how the game works. That's pretty common knowledge, right? A lot of people don't. That's normal stuff, okay? But when those people have a outlet, such as general chat, on a server where there isn't much fun, then it's very easy for them to be labelled as ninja looters. Of course, with people who don't understand the mechanics and rage about it, there are also people who believe in it. Of course they do. And why wouldn't you? If you see someone is being branded a ninja looter, regardless of if it's true or not, you're probably not going to want to team with that person unless you knew them previously. Are you? You're not going to want to do that. Makes sense, because he might be a ninja looter. You don't know anything about these two people, so it might be a ninja looter. Which led to almost a bullying ethos. It was very, very easy to bully someone by labelling him as a ninja looter, because not only was it very hard to get in a dungeon group, but if you've been mislabeled a ninja looter, it became exceptionally difficult. You're that guy I saw was a ninja looter yesterday, and you're like, yeah, I didn't ninja loot anything. It's like, well, I'm not going to take you anyway because you're a rogue and there are 8 million rogues waiting to get into my dungeon. Are you going to take the rogue who's potentially a ninja looter or the one who you've never heard of? The one you've never heard of. You're going to take them every single fucking time. Of course you are. You might be a white knight sitting at your keyboard right now going, I would take the one who's potentially a ninja looter so I can find out for myself. Takes you an hour to put a group together back in vanilla. You're not taking the ninja looter. Why take the fucking risk? That is not going to happen. So all these things used to happen. And it was good. It had its drawbacks. As I just mentioned, the ninja loot thing is just one drawback. It was just one drawback. But there are many, many others. I will say that it was much more social. And you felt like part of a much greater community. Which is a good thing. It's a really good thing. When did this come? Looking for dungeon comes into the game. Finding groups is tedious, annoying, and long. It would take you more time to form a group than to complete a dungeon, which isn't the way it should work. So looking for dungeon made sense. There are problems with looking for dungeon. One is that very quickly in Wrath of the Lich King, we noticed that some people could not find their way back to the dungeon because they had never needed to find it. There is nothing I have been more baffled by in my life than when somebody would die in, say, the Nexus and have to type out those shameful, shameful words, I don't know how to get back to the dungeon. I have no idea. Although the journey from the Nexus to the graveyard is one road. It's just one road that leads from the graveyard straight into the dungeon. It's a nicely marked road. You can't really miss it. But yeah, I just don't know my way back. I don't know how to do it. I'm completely lost. Oh, as the chat is saying now, res please. And they just... You might think these guys are taking the piss. They genuinely have no idea how to get back. So this became quite a widespread problem. People just... There's so many new people who join the game that I almost found it astounding until I made my channel and how many people contact me saying, you know, I'm new to the game and then, you know, I appreciate your help or can you help me with this? All those kind of messages I get on a day-to-day basis. And so all these new people, can you blame them? Absolutely not. You cannot blame a guy who has never needed to join a dungeon, especially when his bestest ever really helpful mates... And if you've done this, don't do this, have told your wonderful new friend who's joined the immense world of Warcraft that the best way to level it is just to queue in dungeons. You don't need to do anything. Just queue dungeons. It's the fastest. You absolute assholes. Way to ruin the game for your friends. Good idea. Good fucking idea. That's really helpful. Yeah, you're a superstar. You're a superstar. If you've ever told anyone to do that, don't do that again. Don't do that again. Really don't. Let them go out and find their own way. Emma's father, brief tale, Emma's father is an RPG addict. I would say he's an addict. I kind of don't want to embarrass him because I know some of Emma's family watch this show, but hell, he won't mind. Emma's father is an RPG addict. So he hasn't got internet. I know. He hasn't got access to his internet for various reasons I won't go into, but he doesn't have access to the internet. So he has a PlayStation 3. Or is it 2? The new one. Whatever. And he enjoys it immensely. He also has a PS Vita, I believe. Or, no, a PSP, which he plays all the time. He loves games. He absolutely loves games. And especially RPGs. When I used to go and visit Emma's house, he has a back room, like a gamer's chamber, where he goes. He's had a heart attack and stuff, so he has a relaxing room. And I'd go in there, and I would sit on the couch, and he would tell me all about the current game he was playing. And he'd show me the worst games I have ever seen in my fucking life. Some of the most tragic-looking RPGs I can possibly describe to you, that I had never heard of. That were clearly rip-offs of good RPGs, you know? They had a horse and shit. But they were like, they're the ones where you want to go and buy, like, Oblivion, and you come back with Oblivioed or some shit, because it's like £20 cheaper or $20 cheaper. You know, you've got some money, you kind of want a game. Oh, there's Oblivion. I heard that's pretty good, but this one's called Oblivioid, and it's kind of close, right? It's kind of like going to be the same game. So he bought, like, Oblivioid, and he'd come and show me Oblivioid. It's got horses, and it's got some sort of combat and crafting and stuff. Now, they don't have a great deal of money, so he likes to get the best out of his games. He really does, and he will play every class. He did eventually get Oblivion. He 100%ed Oblivion, and he visited and walked every road. He doesn't like doing things like use fast travel, as strange as that seems to me and you. He likes to ride to wherever his quest might be, even if it takes him 40 minutes to get there. He enjoys the journey. This is a guy who loves his journey. So I kind of got annoyed that I kept seeing these third-party 2-bit fucking RPGs, especially that I had to watch them on some occasions, you know, watch him play them. And I got kind of like, this is terrible. So what, it was his birthday, I think. I said, I'm getting him Skyrim. I'm going to get him Skyrim, because he wouldn't have been able to buy it himself. He wouldn't. He doesn't like spending his money on himself. He likes providing for the family and so on. So I decide I'm going to get him Skyrim. So I go down to the local video game store, which I haven't been in for like 10 years. Who goes to video game shops anymore? What the hell? Are you kidding me? If I want to buy something, I have the internet. Are you joking me? Go to a physical store? You must be out of your fucking mind. And those people, I don't want to be like, I don't want to be in a video game store, you know what I mean? I don't want to be in there. So I go down to the local video game retailing store, and I buy Skyrim. Super cheap. It was like, what, 15 pounds or something like that. It was really still cheap. So I got him Skyrim, and I said, here's a game for you, it's Skyrim. He looks at me extremely unimpressed. I was like, fuck you. I'm only joking, of course, but he looks at me like completely unimpressed, like, oh, thanks, it's pretty cool. Have you seen Oblivioid? I'm playing this right now. And I'm like, oh, try Skyrim. Try fucking Skyrim. No. Here, look at Oblivioid. I'm halfway through this game. You'll love it. Look at this one. It's the same thing as Skyrim, I think. So I'm like, it's Skyrim. It's going to be better than Oblivioid. I'm telling you. Please try this game. And anyway, he didn't try it while I was there. So I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. I then learn through his wonderful wife and my mother-in-law to be that he has not stopped playing that game pretty much relentlessly for the last sort of 7 months. And that I am an absolute asshole for buying him Skyrim. Do you want to know the best thing ever? The best thing ever? He still hasn't completed it. The story, I mean. Let that settle in for now. 7 months, or whenever Skyrim came out, he still has not finished the story. He's not finished the campaign. You know why? He plays every race and character up to a certain part. It's not because it's hard, not because he can't do it. He plays every character up to a certain point, and then he evens it out across them all. And then he goes and does the next part. He does not use any form of quick travel whatsoever in Skyrim. Everywhere he needs to go, he travels either on foot or by pony. He travels everywhere. He doesn't wear helmets because he doesn't like it. He RPs a little bit. He doesn't like helmets and stuff like that. He doesn't believe that his character could carry a big, giant two-handed sword. It looks ridiculous, so he won't use one. Things like this. And he's telling me all about it. I'm like, dude, how can you do that? And he's like, that's the way I like to play my games. What would be the best game ever for him? World of Warcraft. Am I right? I'm right. I know I'm right. I'm right. World of Warcraft. And if he joined the game, I said I would buy him an account. I have 2 spare accounts. I could easily give him access to one of them. But he has no internet, so it kind of like fails, right? And he doesn't really have a great PC. Whatever. So I wanted to get him WoW. If he joined WoW, I would not help him at all. Or maybe help in the most tiny, tiny manner if he got stuck. I would, of course, add him to Real ID, and I would say, get on with it yourself. I want you to do what you did in Skyrim in World of Warcraft. I want you to find your own way. I want you to go and do your own thing. I wouldn't be like, here's 10,000 gold. Here's all the gear you'll ever need to level. Go and get in looking for dungeon and let's get to level 90 so you can do your dailies with me. I would not fucking do that. Are you kidding me? That would be horrible. That would be the worst thing ever. I want to send you on your way. I want you to explore. I want you to do everything you want to do. I want you to go ride a boat around the Thousand Needles. I want you to see the Barrens with the huge fire in the middle. I want you to care about these things. So you care about the game like I care about the game. And you shouldn't do it to your friends either. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're not helping them. Let them discover the wonder of the game on their own. It's the best thing to do. Even if they want a leg up. Don't do it. Say, look, trust me. It's better this way. It's better this way. I will help you at level 90. I will help you at level 80. I will join you in dungeons when you need my help. That's fine. But for now, I want you to see things like the Sunken Temple for yourself. And not just get on my Tundra Mammoth and ride there on your, with me. I want you to discover Stormwind for yourself. As many times have I told you guys, one of the most momentous occasions for me in this game was the first time I saw Stormwind. The music played, it looks magnificent, absolutely awesome. And if someone had just give me a ride there, it'd be like, oh, okay, this is Stormwind. As you guys would say, yeah, it's Stormwind City. I want someone to walk up to and go, holy shit, is this a whole city? Yeah, it's a whole fucking city. This is awesome. Ugh. So, on the social side of things, it has definitely gotten a lot worse. I don't think looking for dungeon is completely to blame. Just the removal of anonymity. Would you sacrifice? Here's the question I want to leave for you before we hit 1 hour of daily, because that's too much, in my opinion. I want to leave you this question. The social side has, of course, gotten much, much worse. There's no doubt about that. But people like to label the very obvious things, which is what I don't want to do. I don't want to label the obvious things. What I would like to say, I will leave you this thought and we'll discuss it briefly tomorrow before we begin Drama Friday, is if looking for dungeon was limited entirely to your realm, but the queues were longer, would you be okay with it? Would you be okay with it? If they closed off cross-realm stuff, would you be okay with it? That's all I want to know. And maybe a little brief description why. That would be amazing. Leave it in the YouTube comments and we'll talk about a general vision of that. Now, before you answer, there's a lot of people answering right now. A lot of people answering right now. I want you to consider the implications of this. Because I truly believe if WoW wants to be the momentous game, we need to make some hard decisions. Your queues would be considerably longer. Considerably longer. Okay? You would also revisit certain people who are assholes. That would become a part of the game. But your community would be stronger. But be aware that your queues would be significantly longer. And if you're a DPS, they're already pretty long. Bear that in mind before you leave me an answer. Don't try and answer in the chat right now. I want to get a discussion going. One of the best things about the dailies is when I check them every day before the daily starts, around 3:30 PM, I start reading through your comments from the previous day, and there's always a good level of discussion, usually 9 or 10 pages of discussion about what we've talked about. So this is why I want to leave it with you. Let me know on the YouTube video tomorrow. It'll be up in the morning. Alright guys? Drama Friday tomorrow. Web show on Saturday. Bro fists, send them to me. preachgaming@gmail.com. Go ahead. Let's have a great old Friday. A nice way to enter in the weekend. And of course on Saturday, Ghosty's luscious, beautiful face will be adorning your screens. We'll have a great time. And also the schedule is going to go up on the website for the Way of the Warrior 2 filming. For those of you who want to be part and play extras in that, we will probably be filming next Saturday. It seems likely next Saturday sometime. We might do some daytime, might do some evening times. A lot of footage to get with you guys. Okay, so I'll put the schedule up on the website, preachgaming.com. Alright, have a great evening. I will see you tomorrow for Drama Friday. It's going to be really good. Bye. I forgot to tell you something. I forgot to tell you something I can't tell you tomorrow. Oh my god, I totally forgot to tell you something. Okay, I got trolled today. I'm wearing a hat, and this is for good reason, okay? I can't even show you this picture. I can't show it. This is just a personal thing that happened. as I just said, about 3:30, I start reading and getting some notes together for the daily. It gives me like an hour and a half to prepare the daily and then do stuff. But one of the things I like to do at 3 o'clock, I have a schedule, okay? I try and walk Ben. Then about 3 p.m., I like to get in a shower or a bath, and then I get dressed and I do the daily. So, Emma was off work today, which is awesome. So she's out and about, and she calls me with the best news ever while I was working. I will take Ben for his afternoon walk. This is a godsend to me because obviously it's too dark now. It's completely pitch black outside. Walking Ben now is just a risk, more for personal safety in terms of falling down. If I go to a country park now, I can't see the floor, right? So, I start running my bath. Emma's out walking the dog. Everything's awesome. I'm having a great old day. I don't have to take like an hour out of my day to go and walk Ben, which means I don't have to work at night as much. Awesome. The bath is full, and like a sir, I call Emma. This is the biggest mistake I will make in a very fucking long time, right? This is the worst mistake ever. I decide to call my fiancée. I think that's a pretty cool thing. I will call her, see if everything's okay with Ben before I get in the bath. I've kind of done my morning to midday work. I'm going to take the break, do the daily, and then I will start doing my evening stuff. So I'm literally undressing. And I call her. I'm like, hey, how's it going? You know, is Ben okay? Did you bump into any other dogs? And she says, Ben has had the best time in his life. He's had an amazing time. He's been for a walk with Emma's friend, who was also off work today, and she has 2 big Labrador dogs. So 3 dogs out running together in a country park. He's had the best time ever. Awesome. He said he's sat in the back of the car now. I go, oh, you're on your way back? Yes, I'm on my way home. Cool. I'm just about to get a bath. She says, okay. By the way, Ben's really, really dirty. Can you bring down a towel and a bowl of water and leave it downstairs for me to give him a bit of a clean when I get home? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I get the towel. Literally, as I walk from upstairs to downstairs, which is about a 6-second journey, her car appears outside of the house. She was literally around the corner. And I've just got the towel, and I haven't got the water. So she opens the door. Ben is head to toe covered in mud, and he's rolled in a cow shit, right? He's got shit all over him. He's got a cow shit on him. He stinks, and he's looking at me covered in mud, absolutely covered in mud. We'll have to bath him. I say, no, I'm about to get in the bath. I've been looking forward to this bath, because usually I have to walk Ben. I've got an hour for myself. Ben takes my fucking bath. She says, we need to do it now. It's got to be done. Ben needs a bath desperately. So I'm like, Emma, I'm half undressed. I'm half undressed to get in the bath. I'm really looking forward to the bath. Doesn't matter. Ben needs the bath. I'm like, oh my God. Ben then proceeds to create the dirtiest mess ever in the history of mankind in my bathtub. And then not only that, dives out and sprays me with water everywhere. He stole my effing bath. I didn't even have time after bathing him to have a shower. So I'm going to go and do that now. But I will upload to Facebook because I've let the water drain. I'm going to go and do it now. So the Preach Gaming Facebook. Hello? I'm just telling the stream about you took my bath. I'm just telling the stream how you took my bath. I am. I am streaming now. I am. Say hello.
Hi.
Bye. She can hear her name mentioned. I will upload to Preach Gaming Facebook the picture. I'll do it now. I'll go and do it now. Okay. So, good night. Have a great evening. Bye bye.